Hey y'all, we're back with another episode of Mutual Intentional Love. I'm Takara, and this is my husband.
Kylan, what's good, y'all?
And we're talking about communication. Not just communication, but comprehending communication. Right? I know you had like a different way of saying that, right? What was it?
Comprehension of communication.
Comprehension of communication. You see, even that alone, like, let me understand what it was that you were thinking about this part of communication, which really is the same thing, comprehending and comprehension.
True.
Is it not?
Yeah. Sure, one is just more of actively doing so. You're
Yeah.
comprehending, and comprehension is the act itself.
Okay. Which one's the act itself? One's actually doing it.
And comprehending, you're actively doing it in the moment.
Yeah, comprehending.
Yes. But
Doing it in the
comprehension is the entire act, which is what we're talking about. And what I was thinking about when I came up with this topic was the fact that people often communicate and feel like they're communicating effectively when in actuality they're just talking.
Yeah.
Communication without comprehension is talking. You're just talking. That's all. You've expressed what you want to express, and the other person that you're expressing it to may simply just be hearing you.
Right.
They may not understand what you're saying, what you're feeling, what you're trying to convey. All of these things, they're still not comprehending.
Right.
So it's just a sounding board. You're being able to talk to someone, but rather you're talking at them because they don't even understand what you're saying.
Right. Which is important for somebody to actually listen, because how can you even comprehend if you're not listening?
Well, most people are listening, but there's a difference between listening and listening to learn.
As well as asking questions. Like a way of learning is to ask questions, so that way you can fully understand what's being said.
Yeah, and that a lot of times is something that people are lacking.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
either not even that they just don't understand, or they lack the desire to understand. They're not particularly interested in what it is that you're trying to say or convey or understand. They're rather listening to respond. They're waiting for their turn to respond to whatever you're saying, or waiting for you to just get it out your system so you can be done with it, so they no longer have to deal with whatever your problem is.
Right, yeah.
Which, as you can see, that's not really conducive to a healthy, thriving relationship and can cause a lot of problems.
For sure. It's important to understand one another and to listen wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So that you do understand.
And have a desire to do that.
Yeah,
want
for sure.
to understand each other and learn as much as you can about the other person and what they're feeling.
Yeah, that's a major red flag if you don't already have the desire. Like, what are you doing there?
Well, it also depends on the depth. People get comfortable and they feel like they know everything there is to know. There's no more to learn. And whatever it is that you're feeling, it's just like you're just expressing yourself. Let you get this out of your system, as opposed to let me understand what the root of your issue is so we can work through this together.
So they got too comfortable. They don't necessarily want to leave, but they think that they know everything about their partner.
Yeah.
And just checked out. Just let them go on, but aren't actually hearing or understanding anything being said.
Yeah, because they've gotten comfortable with the relationship and their level of understanding of the other person, and completely just disregard the fact that we're all constantly evolving and we're constantly growing in other areas simultaneously. So we don't just reach a point and just stop. The feelings stop, the emotions stop, the thoughts stop, the growth stops. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It all continues to unfold each day. And it becomes a problem when the other person decides there's nothing left to do to keep this going and growing and thriving. And that's problematic.
this is kind of like a branch, same topic, slightly different than what we're saying, but like sometimes you could be your own problem, and you think that they may comprehend, but you actually didn't even communicate what you want or what you need. So not only is it that, you need to have that comprehension, but you also have to make sure that it's actually being communicated. Because you can't just assume that your partner knows what you want or need, and it's like this expectation when, oh well, you never even told me that.
Yeah, I think that also goes down to the dynamic of the relationship and the two people and their level of communication to begin with, and the person that's choosing to do that, their actual communication style and also level of comfort communicating.
Right.
It also depends on what the topic is. If it's something that they already know is going to be a little more inflammatory, it might be something that is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That the other person may not receive well, and they don't know how to go about expressing it.
Right.
And they just, throw out little feelers like people do around holidays, like in birthdays, just throw out little feelers, like, indirect ways of trying to get what they want through means that are slightly manipulative and also very passive, and then it sets yourself up for disappointment.
Exactly.
Because you're not being direct and communicating effectively to where it can be comprehended what it is that you want.
That's what I was going to say, is when you said indirect is exactly the problem. Don't be indirect. Be direct. Say what it is that you want or that you need, and
express it properly, though.
I mean, for sure.
Because there is a right way to do things, and there's a proper time and place for everything.
Yeah.
So make sure the setting is conducive for that conversation.
But like the little feelers, like everything you just said, like that, I just... It's a thin line between what you're doing and just flat out manipulation. Like when you could just have a conversation.
Yeah, but that also it's like I said, it depends on the level of comfort and communication that this particular
that's what I'm saying. Like
these people have.
That I think that should be the goal, is to like always be able to speak with your partner and not have to feel like you're walking on eggshells or having like, if you're not safe to be direct, then I think that alone is a sign to like, this probably isn't for me. Like this is not healthy.
But also I would counter that and say it's not always a case of feeling safe enough to be direct. It's having the confidence of self to be direct and knowing how to properly articulate what it is you actually want. Because people can have a thought in their mind, but they're not able to translate that into spoken word to say, this is exactly what I want. They just have a feeling when something occurs that they think maybe they would prefer a different outcome, but they don't even know the exact outcome they want. They just want it to be different so it feels different.
Yeah, so start there.
Yeah, understand yourself and your thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Understand yourself, but even if you aren't clear, start the conversation with that. Like, you know what? I don't even fully know what I want yet, but I do know that I was hoping for something different. And that may, then the partner may then give some suggestions like, oh, like, you mean I should have, or I could have, or we could, however, whatever it is that, is being spoken about or talked about, but I don't think it makes sense to, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to have all your thoughts together. The point is to just be able to truly speak on how you are feeling and what would make you feel good. Like, what would make you...
For sure.
What would be good for the both of you.
Although it is helpful to have your thoughts in order.
I was just thinking of inclusion. Like, maybe you need to say, or all of you.
Lord.
Sometimes people have more than two in a relationship.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. And, right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
you know, you can take what makes sense for you.
Yeah, and do your best to apply it to your situation the best way possible.
Yeah.
And truly, like I was saying, though, it does help to have your thoughts in order
Yeah.
before starting the conversation. Although it can help just having the conversation to help you develop those thoughts. Understand your own thought first before bringing it, especially if it's something that can be perceived as an issue. It snowballs and becomes a bigger issue by you presenting something that is an issue, but you not even being able to
No.
convey what the issue is. I can't fix a problem if you don't know what the problem is.
I agree with that, but it also felt like you were kind of like going into a contradiction of like, setting up, that fear of speaking.
No, it's not
Like,
fear of speaking. It is be clear and concise
Yeah, if
with
you can
what
be.
it is that you're trying to
As much
convey.
as you can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But don't just start a conversation, hey, I don't know what the problem is, but I ain't feeling it. How you going to fix that?
Yeah, absolutely
How do we fix
not.
that?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And that is infuriating. How can you present something as a problem and then not know what the problem is, but it is a problem? So now we both have a problem that I didn't know was a problem, but you knew it was a problem, and now it's a problem for us, but I don't know how to fix the problem because you don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah. So please, people, know what your problem is first.
I mean, yeah.
As best as you can. Please be clear and concise with your thoughts so that it can be conveyed in a way that can be comprehended.
There you have it. I hope that you comprehended all that.
And as always, everybody, keep it intentional and support love. Stay well and prosper, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for making it to the end.
And much appreciation for all your support.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all the things.
Across all platforms. And as always, everybody, keep it intentional and support love. Stay well and prosper, everybody. Peace.